5.5 chain rules. This is level 3 that includes some trig. And it's really still not that bad. It's almost even easier than the first one, as long as you remember that the derivative of sine is cosine, the derivative of cosine is negative sine. So if we want to find the derivative of negative sine 6x, sine and cosine always has some kind of inner part. So it's either just x or it's, look, x plus 7. Something about it is on the inside of it. So this is kind of like a composition. So we want to take the derivative of the outer part, which is this negative sine of x. Derivative of sine is cosine. So we need to have that negative there. That'll be negative cosine. We would keep study the inside, the 6x, and you have to put parentheses around it or delta math will count it wrong, times the derivative of the inside part, which is the 6x. That'd be 6. So it'd be better probably to write this as negative 6 times cosine of 6x. Okay, number 2, very similar. Derivative of cosine is negative sine, so we'll have to have negative 8 times sine, keep the inside, x plus 7, times the derivative of x plus 7, which is just times 1. So that doesn't change anything. So I find these kind of fun. Number 3. Negative 3 times the square root of sine of x. Let's rewrite that. So this is negative 3 sine of x to the 1/2 power. Okay, so we're going to do chain rule. We're going to do 1/2 times negative 3, which would be negative 3/2. Keep the inside the same. Subtract 1 from the power. Subtract 2/2, which would be negative 1/2. And then times the derivative of the inside, which is the sine of x. That would be cosine of x. And so I believe you can leave it like that. If you wanted to fix it, you could keep the negative 3 on top. This will sink to the bottom since it's negative, so you'd have cosine of x on top over 2. This would be a square root of sine of x. All right, number 4, something we need to talk about is when you see cosine or sine to a power of x, I always rewrite that. So it's 3 times cosine of x. It's raised to the power. So don't ask me why. They just always put the power here, but really it means taking cosine of x to that power. So very similar number 3. We'll hold steady the inside when you do our power rule. 4 times 3 is 12. Cosine of x to the 3rd times the derivative of cosine would be negative sine of x. So I could bring that negative times the 12. Negative 12 cosine cubed of x sine of x. Okay, number 5. So this is all our outer piece, the 2 cosine of x, and then this is our inner. So our derivative will be take this power times 2 I'm sorry, let me back that up. We don't even have to do power rule on this one. So it's really just the function, I'll write it off to the side, it's really just having 2 cosine of x. And so usually the derivative would just be turning that into negative signs, would be negative 2 sine of x. So yeah, I was overthinking this one. So 2 times the derivative of cosine is negative sine, so we'll have negative 2 sine of keep the inside the same, times the derivative of the inside, which would be 4x. So our derivative is negative 2 times 4x is negative 8x sine of 2 plus 2x squared. And then the last one, we'll just rewrite square root of x as x to the 1/2 power. Same thing, we'll just do the derivative of the outside, which is the 3 cosine of x. And so derivative of cosine again is a negative sign, so it'll become negative 3 sine of x to the 1/2, or the square root of x. And then we need to find the derivative of that, which will become 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. So again, if you want to fix it a little bit, keep your -3 on top, your sine of the square root of x over the 2's on the bottom because it's a denominator, and then you would have square root of x also in the denominator. And that would be your answer.